Hello, my YouTube family. I hope you had a blessed day. Our aim is to teach you something about the food the FDA allows us to consume so you can make educated purchases when feeding your loved ones. Seek the advice of a medical or nutrition professional prior to making any changes to your diet. Out of the millions of potential subscribers, we just want to reach one so each one can teach one. Let's get familiar. In today's episode, we dig deep into Sweet Baby Ray's gourmet sauces, sweet teriyaki. Family, this one is a wild ride, so fasten your seatbelts and prepare to launch. Sweet Baby Ray's gourmet sauces, sweet teriyaki. I used to love my barbecue. My favorite was the big beef ribs slathered in barbecue sauce. One time I made some barbecue sauce, then I added some of my mango carrot smoothies to the mix, a little more seasoning. Then I cooked up some burgers, hot dogs, and steak on the grill. And then we made the beef ribs in the power pressure cooker. I mean, they came out so good. As time went on, and after I got up to about 230 pounds, we started to read the labels. Sweet Baby Ray's was one of my favorite barbecue sauces, and just all of his sauces across the board. And it hurt when I began to realize what was really happening. As you watch these videos, it's important to know that it's not just the Food Deception Alliance who's allowing the poisons to be a part of our food source. You must also realize that the manufacturers have to share some of the responsibility, even if they indirectly contribute to this by not necessarily knowing what goes into the day-to-day production of their product. They are responsible for finding out what it is that we're being fed when we're spending our hard-earned money to buy their products. I remembered how sweet and juicy those ribs would come out. Then we smothered a lot of barbecue sauce all over the top of it, and at some point we became aware that there's a lot of sugar in many of these sauces. I wanted to know exactly how much. Let's dig a little deeper. What is not generally known is that Sweet Baby Ray's is owned by Dave Raymond, aka Sweet Baby Ray. He is a Caucasian man who has more than 29 passionate years in the hospitality business and is the creator of the nationally known barbecue sauce of the same name. In 1985, Raymond and his brother entered a barbecue sauce in the Mike Royko's Rib Fest in Chicago and took second place out of 700 entrants. As always, some of the ingredients may not be totally bad, but there are quite a few here we need to discuss. High fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup, or HFCS, is a sweetener derived from cornstarch. Cornstarch is composed of a chain of glucose molecules joined together. To create this experiment, enzymes must be added to corn syrup to change some of the glucose into another simple sugar called fructose. The enzymes used in HFCS processing have been genetically modified to improve their heat stability for the production of HFCS. It's a GMO. 9 of the many dangers of the HFCS include weight gain, cancer, fatty liver and liver stress, increased cholesterol levels, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, leaky gut, and increased mercury intake. In a study published in Environmental Health, mercury was detected in almost 50% of samples of commercial high fructose corn syrup. Sodium benzoate. Sodium benzoate is a versatile chemical with preservative, medicinal, and other functions. It's used in certain packaged foods, beverages, medicines, cosmetics, as well as personal care and industrial products. A large concern over the use of sodium benzoate is its ability to convert to benzene, a known carcinogen. Benzene can form in soda and other drinks that contain both sodium and benzoate and vitamin C, ascorbic acid. This can lead to health concerns such as inflammation, ADHD, lack of appetite control, oxidative stress, and allergies. Modified cornstarch. For those of you who have been following the other videos, you're probably already familiar with modified cornstarch. Modified food starch is bad for you. The ingredient is treated with potentially harmful chemicals and has a high risk of contamination. An ingredient label reading modified starch is most likely to have been treated with things like sulfuric acid, chlorine, or other chemicals which are not altogether safe for consumption. Modified food starch is frequently composed of around 10% maltodextrin, which camouflages the existence of monosodium glutamate, MSG. Vegetable oils. Again, for those of you familiar with my content, you already know that vegetable oils are bad for you. This has supposedly less than 2%. Vegetable oils are actually made from tough seeds and legumes that were originally grown for industrial use, not human consumption. These seeds must be treated chemically in order to be processed into a pourable, somewhat more human-friendly liquid and often deodorized too to mask the terrible smell from the chemical processing. This includes canola, corn, cottonseed, safflower, sunflower, rice bran, and soy oil. I know some of these ingredients are repetitive, but it's very important that we become familiar with what these are and what they mean to the human body. Sodium bisulfate. Chemists make sodium bisulfate by combining sulfuric acid and table salt. Manufacturers use this substance as a food preservative, so you can find it listed on many food labels. Unfortunately, sodium bisulfate and a related compound, sodium metabisulfite, can cause serious side effects. Sulfites can cause side effects such as abdominal pain, diarrhea, hives, low blood pressure, and even life-threatening anaphylaxis. According to a paper published in the winter 2012 issue of Gastroenterology and Hepatology from Bed to Bench. Xanthan gum. Again, this is another one that you all should be familiar with by now. Xanthan gum is a popular food additive that's commonly added to foods as a thickener or stabilizer. It's created when sugar is fermented by a type of bacteria called Xanthomonas campestris. When sugar is fermented, it creates a broth or goo-like substance, which is made solid by adding an alcohol. It is then dried and turned into a powder. The important thing to know is the sugar can come from many different places, including wheat, corn, soy, and dairy. People with severe allergies to these products may need to avoid foods containing xanthan gum unless they can determine what source the xanthan gum came from. Caramel color. For those of you who are not familiar with this is where you need to strap your seatbelt a little tighter. Caramel color production always starts with a carbohydrate source and high heat. Subsequent modifications, however, alter their chemistry, physical properties, and importantly, their effects in the human body. The resulting compound is classified into one of 4 categories depending on method of production. The one that directly pertains to this episode is Class 3, ammonium compounds added, no sulfites, used in some beers, sauces, and candy. Potassium sorbate. Potassium sorbate is composed of potassium hydroxide, an inorganic compound, as well as sorbic acid, a natural organic compound. Higher than normal levels of potassium in the blood leads to hyperkalemia, as mentioned by Medline Plus. I have that document for those of you who want to read it. Hyperkalemia happens when the level of potassium in the bloodstream is higher than normal due to the excess release of potassium from the cells or the increase in total body potassium through ingesting too much of the electrolyte. Potassium may come from sources like food additives, medications, or dietary supplements. Calcium disodium EDTA. calcium disodium EDTA has been approved by the Food Deception Alliance as a food additive. It has the role to stabilize mixtures of oils and fats, promote color retention, and extend food shelf life. This compound is also used in cosmetic soaps, cleaning products, and pharmaceuticals. They say this food additive is considered safe, but please research it on your own. I personally don't trust this. As a chelating agent, EDTA may affect heart and kidney function. They also say most foods contain only small amounts of calcium disodium, so overdosing is unlikely to occur. The true question is, why does this need to be in something I eat? Homemade barbecue sauce has none of these poisons, so it is possible to make food without toxins. Enriched wheat flour. Enriched flour is flour in which most of the natural vitamins and minerals have been extracted. When the bran and the germ, or the part of the wheat that contains fiber and nutrients, are removed, your body absorbs wheat differently. Instead of being a slow process that gives you steady bursts of energy, your body breaks down enriched flour more quickly, which typically raises blood sugar more quickly as well. This excess blood sugar has to be metabolized by the liver, and if there's an excess of sugar, your body will store some of it as fat. One last thing I will tell all of you. When looking at these labels, always look at the serving size. In this example, the sodium content is 320 milligrams. However, according to the serving size, this is 320 milligrams per tablespoon. How many people use only 1 tablespoon of barbecue sauce on their food? Notice where it says amount per serving. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams a day and moving toward an ideal limit of no more than 1,500 milligrams per day for most adults. If you use an entire bottle of this, you have added 10,240 milligrams of sodium to your meal. Now imagine that plus all of the sodium from the other ingredients. Now I know some of you may be saying, but you're not going to consume all of that barbecue sauce yourself, which is probably true. But there are some people who are going to eat multiple pieces of chicken, multiple pieces of ribs, and in some cases, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 bottles of barbecue sauce added at any one time, depending on how many people this is being prepared for. So you can take that 10,240 milligrams of sodium to your meal and multiply that by however many bottles you need to add. Even if you're separating all of this between multiple people, it's still way too much when you average in all of the other sodium and other ingredients from everything else that you're adding to this meal. How many people paid attention to this small part of the label? People, family, YouTube, Facebook, IG, Twitter, everybody. This is why there are diabetes, high blood pressure, and obesity issues in America. The toxic ingredients added to our food and misleading labeling is killing us. If you still think the Food Deception Alliance and federal government don't know about this, then you don't have internet and you don't have television. So to summarize, the ingredients above can lead to all types of health issues. You have to read these labels when you go shopping. Please. If you don't understand what you're reading, check back here on this channel or simply send us an email and we may already have research that'll help you understand what you're eating. If you have any suggestions for any food that you would like to see us review, go ahead and put that in the comments and we will definitely take that into consideration when developing future episodes. Most importantly, always research for yourself and consult a nutrition specialist with any specific questions. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this valuable information with your loved ones. Click the notification bell so you'll be notified when we upload new videos. Find The Awakening Frequency on Twitter and Instagram, and also Facebook. I'm not a doctor, nutritionist, nor do I have any experience in the medical or health fields. I'm just a person whose health was impacted in a positive way just by changing how I eat. Seek the advice of a medical or nutrition professional prior to making any changes to your diet. We are The Awakening Frequency. Out of the millions of potential subscribers, we just want to reach one so each one can teach one. Peace.